With the Wandering Village going into full release, I figured it is time to play it again. In the story mode, we're gonna select Squiddy and just gonna get going. Season 2. Let's go.
Driven from our homes by the toxic spores, we kept wandering, looking for shelter. But not in our wildest dreams did we imagine what we would find.
Still love the art style. Ah, there you are. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Elder Waltrout. Theodore, after all the years we've traveled, all the hardship we've endured together, who would have thought that we'd run into an Onbu of all things? His name is Squiddy. It's truly amazing, isn't it, dear? We might be the first humans to have seen one in a couple 100 years. But the poor thing seems exhausted and has gone back to sleep for now. I had thought that Onbus slept underground, but the poisoning of the soil must have woken it up. I wonder if it can even sustain itself up here on the surface. But if we take care of it, it might take care of us in turn. But if push comes to shove, we might have to prioritize our own well-being in order to survive. Okay, kind of the mean guy on the right and the nice lady on the left. Fair. Though that is a decision that we would like to pass on to you. Thanks. We may have led our people here, but I think it's a good opportunity for someone new to take over. I'm sure you will prove to be an excellent leader. Thanks, I guess. Alright, we are in. I'm quickly gonna pause. This is Squiddy. In all black, I like it. Before we continue, let me actually go into settings and turn off the music just to avoid any copyright claims. Alright, here we go. And with our housemate music, well, not housemate music, but channel music in the background now, we can continue. These are our settlers. For those of you who are new, the premise is that we're in this world and it's a very harsh environment. Humans kind of almost died. I mean, you've heard some of that story right now. And we're on the back of Onbu, this creature right here. And he sleeps, he eats, he poops, he walks around. And we're trying to survive with him throughout this harsh environment. And we'll see how far we're gonna go. So at the moment, we have a relatively small settlement with 10 people in it. But we're gonna pick up people on the way as we are expanding. But first things first, we just need to make sure we survive. Alright, there you're kind of just building like any other colony survival game. You're building your houses, your research, and so on and so on. And yeah, just make your way through everything. Alright, there are some resources out here. There's clay, for example. There's rocks. Now, there are also Onbu spikes. These are part of Onbu itself, or Squiddy himself. If we are to harvest these, we do get some stone, but Squiddy will not like it and will not trust it as much. There's also a bunch of trees around here. And then early game food is these berry bushes that you see right here. Now I'm trying not to zoom in and out too much, but sometimes it's a bit tricky, so we'll see how this goes. What are you? You're a berry bush. Okay. You will keep growing, I guess, as things move along. Anyways, we need food. We need water. I guess not yet. So we need food and we need resources. We could immediately put down the woodcutter camp or the mining camp, but you can also manually harvest resources. And that's kind of what we're gonna do. We're gonna remove a bunch of these trees over here to make a little bit more space. It's gonna make a bit more space in the back here. What is this? Strange rubble. A large pile of rubble. Looks like there's something buried underneath. Stone and clay. Someone wants to talk to me. Waltrout. I see you've noticed a strange pile of rubble as well, my friend. There seems to be something buried there. It's hard to tell what that is right now, but we might be able to learn more if we dig it up. Sounds good. I don't know about this. Maybe it was buried for a reason. We should just know. Come on, dear. Aren't you the least bit curious? Who knows? It might be something that could really benefit us. I kind of agree with Waltrout on this one. So how do we actually do this? I guess we just click on harvest. Hiring workers. Okay, fair enough. So all the free workers will be responsible for harvesting. This way we're right now getting just a ton of wood, which will be beneficial. And we should also actually mark some stones to be harvested while we're at it. With that, we're just gonna have it go and look at them. They're actually just going right in, chopping down the trees. I like the graphics. It's kind of a 2.5D design, and overall it just looks really nice. Onbu is snoring. Sorry, Squiddy is snoring. Overall, seems very happy. Good, I like it. Alright, we do need a berry gatherer, and I want to put the berry gatherer close to our berries, because again, that kind of just makes sense. Now we could chop down one berry and place it here. This is kind of the rubble is in the way, but actually if we place it here, 9 are in range, which I think overall will be quite nice. Oh look, he's glowing. I like that. Alright. So as they are still chopping things down, we also need to focus on the next bits and pieces. We need tents for our citizens to just live in, and we're just gonna place so each tent has 2 beds, which means for 10 people we need 5 of the tents. So let's put down 5 of these. We also should get a research building relatively quickly, because that will help us evolve our settlement a lot better, or a lot more. Just gonna place it right next here as well. Buildings with red flags. Enable blah blah blah. I guess we need clay for this. Oh, interesting. Harvest and remove. No, we just want to harvest. Put this on highest priority. We do need 20 clay out of this. So highest priority and second highest priority. They've put in the berry gatherer, and we just then need to assign workers. I think 1 will be okay for now. I always want to try to rotate this around, but yeah, that's not possible. All right, 4 times speed. One of the berry gatherers has gotten in there, and it is kind of nice. They are wearing different clothes, so it's a little bit easier for you to distinguish what they look like. All right, Onbu is still sleeping. Just gonna make sure we have the research available. And once this comes in, we need to look at what we can actually research. So let's actually see. It's been a while. Like I said, here we go, open research tree. Research tree is quite vast. And I will struggle a little bit with identifying what we kind of need in terms of research tree to move forward. But I think I wanna beeline straight for the scavenger hut, as this will help us gain more settlers and make our village overall more productive. So in order to get there, we need to go through the airwell, the farm, the hornblower, and the pantry, as well as both the carpenter and the stonemason. So we'll figure this out as things move along. All right. Clear the strange rubble. I know, you keep telling me. Berry gatherer constructed, tent constructed. Overall good. And next there will be the research building that's coming in. All right, somebody is trying to clear the rubble now. So while they do that, I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. And this way I am strengthened. Oh, I think Onbu is awake. So every now and then he wakes up. Where are his eyes? Oh, there. So every now and then he wakes up, then gets up, and then starts to just walk around. The research hut has been built, so let's start researching. Yep, we want to research the air well. That is for us to get some water. And with Onbu awake, he will just follow these roads. They sometimes split, and then you can give Onbu commands to take a certain road. This way you can guide him into areas that you think are more beneficial or that you are a bit better prepared to deal with. However, that only works if you actually have the hornblower that was part of this research tree. See that up here? That's the one that allows you to issue commands to Onbu. Okay, what else? Research costs. We have everything actually to also research the farm once it's done. So that is good. What else can we actually start to plan? Material storage, always a good call. This will be very useful for actually getting some stone mines in, or, well, a stone mine in. So I'm gonna place some material storage just south of it. And then let's see what else we need. Wood cutting camp, mining camp, clay gathering camp. I think for now it is okay. I think they changed the sound effect. Wow, you can actually hear his footsteps. Maybe I've just never noticed it before. Alright, as I was saying, we're gonna place these soon, but for now they're doing all of this manually, which is absolutely fine. We can already expand our living situation, because as we're gathering more people, and we'll see how that is gonna go. There's an abandoned encampment. As Onbu walks through this, what will happen is that will be a random event encounter. So that might be either finding more people, finding some resources, nothing, or even just a bunch of bad stuff happening. So you kind of want to keep an eye out for these. And there are kind of good random encounters and bad random encounters as things move forward. All right, I think maybe I want to progress the story a little bit, so I'm gonna have someone prioritize dealing with this. It's 4 of them. We are getting stone and clay out of this, which is definitely beneficial. Alright, air well has been researched, so we're gonna go straight into farms, because that will allow us to plant a little bit more food supply for our villagers, and that will be definitely essential for our survival. Now, food supply, I'm gonna quickly pause. Farms usually need to go on that green area. There are mushroom farms. Mushrooms are usually used to feed Onbu, and they are the ones that go on the sort of soil area right here. All right, but that is kind of future worries. We do have one researcher in here. I wanna keep enough space for another researcher right next to it. So let's actually go in here, place it down, pause it, disable, and then we're gonna go ahead and place our air well with a space of 1 next to it, so we can actually add a path in there that I think will be, again, quite beneficial for us. Right now our food income and usage is stable, so that doesn't seem to be going down or up. And Onbu, again, kind of happily walking. I'm curious what this encounter will be or will bring. 2 nomads, 1. Okay, so this is kind of how the immigration part works. Every now and then you get some nomads, people wandering the wilderness, and then they see Onbu and then they go like, ooh, I gotta, join on its back, because that sounds great. And this way you can just keep adding more and more people in. This seems to be happening regularly, as long as your villagers are happy. Happiness is a big issue. That's right here. Right now we have 6 positive happiness and 0 negative happiness. So overall our settlers will be quite content. As you progress through the game, they will get more and more negative happiness, like a baseline negative happiness. So that is just something to keep in mind. All right, we have now finished researching the farm, so we're going to place it immediately, right or well, not right next to it, but in close vicinity of our air well. And actually, I'm not gonna put it here. Let's see, destroy. There we go. I'm gonna move it a little bit further down so we have a little bit more space in that white surrounding area. That's the area where we can actually plant things. Now that I've said I would move it further down, I'm just gonna move it to the side because there are Onbu spikes down here, and I think to the side will give us enough space so we can fill up our farmland just around it, almost as like a half moon. Alright, so with this placed, Onbu is still on the way. It will take a little while for it to get done. Let's look into what else we can research. Next thing, we're gonna do the hornblower. I want to be able to control Onbu's movement a little bit more, so that just makes a ton of sense to me. Are they researching? They are, but they need 50 wood. And right now we're a bit short on wood. So what we're going to do in terms of priority, we're going to high prioritize the chopping of the wood. That did not work. Why not? Let's see. Priority tool, highest priority. Oh, now it worked. All right. Just want to make sure we're chopping down those trees relatively quickly so we can move on with our building area. Now zooming further out, we're still going to encounter the rubble, and this is one of these road crossings that I mentioned. If we get the hornblower in time, we can decide if we're heading up north or if we're going to keep southeast moving along this line. But I honestly don't think we're going to quite get to the hornblower stage. You also see a little bit off the road are like things like this mine, and these are areas that you can explore once you've built a scavenger hut. So you're gonna send out 2 of your settlers to go and scavenge, right? So again, can help you either get food, other materials, or settlers and research knowledge, which will be quite essential for some of the research tech tree. Right, but future worries, future worries. Let's go back in here. They are not quite building this. I want to make sure we're getting there relatively quickly. Also gonna set all of these trees down here to be chopped down. And what I am going to do is set these on the highest priority and those actually on slightly lower ones. So they clear out the area around the farm, which I think will be overall quite beneficial. Now, with the farm, you need to actually, it won't just plant stuff as you want it to. You need to actually place down some plots for it to plant things on. And then technically you can figure out what you want to place or plant based on this area right here. Right now, we can only plant beets, which fair enough. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, the growth is also dependent on the temperature. So you want to be in that green area. So depending on which terrain you're in, this temperature movement or this temperature gauge moves around. And this arrow is where you want the green to be. So right now it just means there's 60% growth. So it's a little bit less efficient, but overall will be still quite useful to get done. We're gonna assign 1 person to our farm, but the farm also needs some water in order to grow something. So we're gonna add 1 more person to the air well. Zooming back out, countering the abandoned encampment soon. And another thing that you will see occasionally is random weather events. This could be storms, just rain, or any other thing, or poisonous clouds that actually will cross your path. So again, you just need to plan a little bit in advance for this. More nomads, yep, always welcome. And the research should be, yep, it's done now as well. So we have the hornblower. What we can do next is the pantry, just to store a little bit more food before we then move on to the carpenter and the stonemason that we will need in the long run. All right. With the hornblower being ready, we need to place it, and I'm gonna quickly pause. With the Onbu buildings, you kind of need to place them close to Onbu's head, close to Squiddy's head. Because if you wanna have him hear it, you should blow the horn out front, not in the back. You know what I mean. So ultimately all of that makes sense. We're gonna kind of try to place it in a reasonable spot that is easy to reach for our inhabitants. And I think right here is actually a good one. So let's place it. Let's make sure we highest prioritize it. So we might actually make it to the hornblower by the time we reach the crossing. All right, we had selected the pantry. It does need more clay. So let's also make sure we're gonna harvest the clay. And clay will kind of repopulate as long as it gets some water. So overall, I think we're actually doing okay with everything so far. Our farmer is placing or planting the beets, and they are slowly growing. Now beets benefit from colder weather, as you see here. So we want to ideally be more in the mountainous area. Both of them seem to be going into the mountainous area. So I don't know if we will properly... Oh, hold on. Buildings with red flags. Current research. Oh, did we miss the encampment? The abandoned encampment? I think we missed it. There's not much left, but you may find some tools amongst debris. I'm surprised nothing happened. Oh, maybe it popped up and I really missed it. One of the downsides of this game, you kind of need to keep an eye up here for these special events, because once they're gone, they're just gone. All right, let's make sure our researchers are getting their worths out of it. And in addition, now we can sort of decide if we want to go up north or go southeast. There's a mine there with some flea eggs. I don't think we're gonna get there. We need a scavenger hunt to actually get to this. So I could just let him decide whichever route he wants to take. Right now, I don't see any bonus of either going north or south. And as you keep walking, the fog of war is sort of clearing out in a surrounding area around Onbu. All right. Let's see, what is this? Biogas. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't really seem to matter. Let's try north. Oh, he doesn't trust our commands. So this is another thing, another mechanic that happens. You need to build your trust with Onbu. So, and you can do that by feeding him, so he likes you a bit more. Kind of makes sense, I guess. But, yeah. Again, another mechanic that you just need to keep in mind as you're playing this game. I'm also gonna extend our housing area now by 3 more houses. We do have 16 total population right now. Meaning, at the moment, as it stands, we don't have enough places for people to live in. But I do want them to kind of finish chopping all of the trees up, and once they are done, they can start building these houses and then go also back into mining that rubble area. Look at that. He even went the northern route as I was hoping for. Hardy mushrooms. This is an area where your Onbu can eat. And I will quickly pause so we can do this right after. Because your Onbu has poison levels. As he walks through the areas that are poisoned, this will increase, and other events will increase the poison level even more. So you need to keep him less poisoned. You need to keep him well fed. So Onbu hunger is a big one, and he will just lay down and sleep once he gets too sleepy. So again, a lot of mechanics going on, a lot of things to think about, especially in the beginning. But let's go back to the story mode, past, present, and future. Oh, shoot. Interesting indeed. In all my years, I've never seen anything quite like it, or maybe, no, it couldn't be. Either way, it seems to be a remarkable good shape, given its age. I accidentally clicked this away. I really wonder what it was. foundations are intact and many of the other parts look usable as well. If we can figure out how they fit together and supplant some of our own resources, we might just be able to repair it. I don't know what we could stand to gain from this. Our resources are limited and in my opinion better used elsewhere. But deer isn't not knowing the exciting part. I think we should do it if we can afford it. But either way, it isn't our decision anymore, is it? Alright, so it is something that we can repair. A mysterious structure, decayed, overgrown ruins. We don't know their original purpose. Severely damaged. So need to put some planks in and some stone slabs. And these you actually get through the research of the carpenter and the stonemason. So again, something we just need to figure out. People are getting a bit unhappy because they don't have nowhere to live, which again, kind of makes sense. Let's zoom out to see what's ahead of us. Again, some food for Onbu, and then these areas that are currently not useful to us at all. Alright. Their resource stack. Are they actually building that? Oh, they have built the material storage. So that is good. Also finished the research. So the pantry has been researched. So now I think let's just do the carpenter first. So we can actually create planks from wood. We do have enough wood to actually do this. Let's also have a quick look at the stonemason. We do need to harvest more stones in order to make this happen. But we can also now place a pantry, and we're gonna just place the pantry very close to our farm area right here. All right, so they're now chopping away at these trees. Let me quickly go ahead and remove the priority for these. And then we're going to set up the stones to be on a slightly higher priority, as this will be required by our next research area. We're about to enter the cold biome, the mountain biome, which, yeah, ultimately it doesn't matter too much, but it should actually help with our production of beets. All right, what else can we look at? Woodcutter camp, that is something that we will definitely need to build, and I think we're just gonna place it in that circle right here. And then we're gonna put a mining camp in that area just up there. Maybe we can actually just place it here. I think that would be quite beneficial. Oh, more settlers. No research is tracked, so we have researched the carpenter. Next one will be the stonemason, which again will be very beneficial for us. The pantry is in now as well, and we kind of need to make sure that our citizens actually have a place to live in. So let's finish up these tents as well. We're gonna leave a gap of 1 for either roads or decorations. So this game has decorations, and that will ultimately increase the happiness of your people. So let's see how things go. Onbu is tired. He just made it into the cold weather. Let's have a look. See, now the arrow is in the green part, which means the growth rate is now 100%. However, actually that is still fine. All right, time to yawn, I guess. But yeah, overall, I think Onbu was just very sleepy, so it's time for him to shake it off, basically. All right, buildings with red flags. We need to assign 1 woodcutter over here. And that woodcutter will slowly just chop away at the trees around it. So, kind of works. And this way we definitely have dedicated woodcutters, which I think will be, again, quite beneficial for us. So let's go ahead and unmark these for chopping down, as our woodcutters can deal with that for us. And then also high prioritize the mining camp, so we can put 2 miners into that mining camp to actually get us to the stones. Next thing we need to do is actually place the carpenter, and well, once it has been researched, the stonemason as well. Research costs 75. We have 23 right now. Maybe we just need to mark a few more to actually be chopped down. More stones, different shapes now. I do quite appreciate that. So let's have them do this. And then again, now we do have some stone cutters, which will ultimately help us. All right, stonemason researched as well. So let's go ahead and select this already. And I know we don't have the resources for it yet, but we'll very quickly get there. Now, you are... What's the problem with you? Storage is full. Okay, I guess that's fair enough. We are bleeding currently some food, so I'm gonna add another worker to our farm. And the next thing we're also going to do is add a bit more of farming area in front of it, which I think will ultimately help us supply our citizens with enough food. So 3 on either side, 2 out the front. That should be all right. We could also assign 1 person to the berry gatherer. Could be good. Don't know if we quite need that yet. But since we can't actually research the scavenger hut, let's actually go back and see what else would make sense. So landscaping, not that important. I don't want to discipline. We could research the eat command, but for that we need mushrooms. So we could actually get the mushroom one out. Alternatively, we could add these flop houses or research the flop houses, but instead I think we might just research some of the additional plants, as this will help us survive in the longer run. Gonna start with the cactus plant, because this will allow us to gain water in the desert terrain. So just having it around in case we need to plant it, I think will be quite useful for us. All right, there are some decaying mushrooms. Interesting. I guess we are in the middle of the mountains, so it will decay faster. And back to a rain cloud. Fair enough. Onbu doesn't seem to mind, and if Onbu doesn't mind, I don't mind either. Next thing we're going to do actually is pause our berry gatherer and just add that person into the farm. Because once the berries grow enough, they actually have a chance to populate sort of or spawn to the next area, if I'm not mistaken. No workers assigned, not enough resources available. I think we'll just wait for that to happen. All right. Onbu is still sleeping. Our people are chopping away. We do need to put down the carpenter and the stonemason, and we're gonna place them up here close together. So with our woodcutter camp there and sort of our stone mining area or future stone mining area here, I think those will be good spots. Leave a little bit of a gap right there. And I'm also going to make sure I'm removing the... Oh, there was no priority on these, so they should be focusing on building these relatively soon or relatively quickly. All right. Onbu's still happily sleeping, and we're just waiting for them to keep building. Time for a sip of coffee. But I think what's really time is now to call this an episode. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.